So, Jonathan, I find these judges are going against efficiency. I don't see a political agenda. I see something the Democrats aren't calling for by a guy they don't really know, and they're getting worried. Let's take two of the freezes. The federal employee buyout offer. What do you think the chances of Trump getting his way there and letting this buyout go through for the 65,000 plus that want it?
I think that Trump is on very solid ground with the buyout. I'm still a bit baffled by what the court is doing here. The presidents are allowed to dictate conditions of employees coming into the office, what they're working on. All of that is part of Article 2 powers of the president controlling the executive branch. I'm not, even today, certain what the constitutional problem is. You've got 65,000 employees who are told, look, we'll let you stay at home and look for a job as long as you agree to resign in a given number of months. They've agreed to it. The government's agreed to it. That seems to me to be perfectly within the wheelhouse of the president. So I think he's going to win on that.
DOGE is access to U.S. Treasury data. So there's a lot of personal data on there. I saw that 5 former U.S. Treasury secretaries put together an editorial saying you should not let those the other people unelected who aren't Treasury secretaries in there. Where do you think that stands?
I've always suspected that this was always about Elon Musk trying to steal my identity because I'm the man he always wanted to be.
Right.
But I think that the problem is that Musk is not actually reviewing this material. This is a read-only situation of people that he has selected. It is very hard to deal with inefficiencies and waste unless you can actually see the receipts, actually see what's coming in and going out. Now, there are some legitimate issues here for the court to address. There's the Privacy Act. The data comes with special protections. If you're going to introduce a new data system, there are protections for that, too. That would have been worthy of the court to say, look, I'm going to require you to satisfy those conditions. But I think the court really got ahead of its skis here. It went way too far in shutting down Treasury officials from looking at this material. I think that ultimately that can't stand. Now, they may end up with something in the middle, but ultimately the President of the United States and his designated officials have to look at this material because that's what he does. He runs the executive branch.
I think so. How are we going to get our house in order if we don't know where the money's going? USAID worker layoffs. I mean, they're moving ahead with this. They took the name off the building. They cut the lease. They told these people not to come to work. So where's the judge says people will be hurt if this is stopped? Therefore, we're in a pause?
Yeah, see, that's another problem with how these cases are constructed. You know, Congress can make decisions. They're the ones who buy ships, but it is the president that decides who's going to take the ship out and the crew. He can reduce the number of crew members. And so there are different aspects of authority here. And I think that the court is really intruding significantly in the president's authority. He's allowed to downsize, and they're allowed to due process. They're allowed to employment protections, but they're not allowed to permanent employment.
Yeah, we'll see. It's going to ultimately end up in the State Department, just how many employees are going to go over there, it looks like. Jonathan Turley, exciting times. Thanks so much.